Well, good morning, Eamon, and thank you very much, as already been said, for all of you coming early on this lovely Sunday morning. It's great that people from such a wide variety of interests across the community have come together on this. And for me, it's really interesting to go full circle because, amazingly, it's nearly 5 years since I was asked to be the Shadow Secretary of State in July 2007. And one of the first events I attended here was the investment conference. And I remember Tony O'Reilly making an absolutely rousing speech, waving his arms around and razzing everyone up about corporation tax. And then, sadly, Gordon Brown, who we saw a few minutes later, put a complete damper on it and said, UK can't afford this, it's a £310 million spending commitment. And that evening, there was a big dinner at Hillsborough, and by complete chance, it was probably a very, very happy chance, I sat next to Sir George Quigley, who had been very much involved in the Tony O'Reilly campaign. And we sat down together, and I honestly can't remember which of us came up with it, but we said, well, why make it a spending commitment? There is very significant public spending in Northern Ireland. It's 25% higher per head than it is in other parts of the UK. Why don't we go for it and take it off the block grant, which means actually there won't be a reduction in money in Northern Ireland, as Naomi Long said. She was absolutely right. She says the money will stay here, it'll just stay in private hands and be invested in private people. And it's an incredibly important point that there's quite a lot of talk, anxious talk, this is a cut. It's not. It's stopping money being taken by the Treasury back to the UK and then redistributed through the block grant. It means the money will stay here and remain in private productive hands. So I carried on. I was going to a business every single week, and time and again, I would find the two main things that businesses wanted were an improvement in the planning regime, which is entirely in local hands, and there was a planning bill that went through the last Assembly, and corporation tax, because we came across three things. Firstly, Northern Ireland's unique. It's the only part of the United Kingdom with a border next to another regime with a 12.5% tax rate. And time and again, I'd find there were projects which had slipped over the border. The one that could have gone to somewhere near Londonderry Kilrain, where it was going to go, ended up going to Tralee. 300 really good pharmaceutical jobs only a few months ago. We see that the whole time. We've got some great office investors now, really good consuls around the world. I did a visit 18 months ago to Boston, and we got in to see a really high-tech, high-flying company in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And we only got in because of, thanks to InvestNI and the local consul, done a really good job. But we just went on the radar. They recognised, as I said in the clip, we've got the English language, we've got all the goodwill, the tremendous international pressure behind us to make Northern Ireland work. We've got the communications, we've got Kelvin, but we keep stumbling into this problem of corporation tax over the border. Secondly, we have, as we know, 40 years of terrible division and violence here, in which a lot of businesses were very badly damaged, and we don't have that breadth of medium businesses which you get across Western Europe. And as a result of that, there's very, very high dependence on public spending. So, our policy at the election was to produce a government paper on rebalancing the economy with a particular reference to looking at the merits of devolving corporation tax, and that became a coalition commitment, which we delivered last year. And of course, in the meantime, we had had our plan endorsed by the European Commission. Strange ally for someone like me, perhaps. And they came up with a very clear ruling that a democratic government can only give a beneficial tax rate to the whole of its area of jurisdiction. So in the case of Portugal, that wanted to reduce tax in the Azores, they had to devolve tax to the Azores Assembly. Once it was devolved to that democratic body, there could be absolutely no interference from the centre. All of this we're very happy with according to our plan. And thirdly, once a decision be made by the devolved Assembly to reduce tax, there could be no countervailing subsidy to make up any foregone revenue. Well, that was all part of our plan anyway. So as far as we're concerned, our plan was absolutely conform to the Azores judgment. And then I would absolutely like to congratulate everybody here who got behind this. We had the support of all 5 political parties who piled in and were very supportive. And I would really congratulate the business community. And in particular, I would like to thank Eamon in person. He's put an enormous amount of his own personal time. I even rang him in the other day and was watery noise. I found out Eamon was in the bath in Portugal. And we were still talking about corporation tax last week. But I think for me, it is very important we have this unity. And don't underestimate that. I can talk up on the cabinet. I can say I have complete support across the political spectrum. That is really powerful. I can say I have complete unity. GrowNI, this extraordinary umbrella organisation, has got practically every single business organisation in Northern Ireland completely united. That is really important. And I think also what's very important, we're focused. We're not being greedy here. We've targeted one particular area which counts. And we have a happy precedent, which I hope might lead to greater things, which was APD, which Conor touched on. And that really was a team effort. We had First Minister, Deputy First Minister in Chicago talking to Continental Airlines, as it then was. We had Hugo Swire and Arlene Foster working really close together. And what was interesting, the ultimate clincher was getting the Chancellor actually to stay to Hillsborough, and we went to Wrightbus, and he met a number of you and a number of businesses, and he really got the message. It is very tough selling airline tickets when APD here was £60, when only an hour and a half away from Dublin it was €3. So we have got a precedent. The Treasury took that on board. The long-distance APD will be devolved, and it will be entirely in the hands of local politicians here to set it. So that is a happy precedent. Where we're up to is that the corporation tax consultation got a massive response, far greater than the Treasury ever expected. I think we had well over 700 responses, which was very much down to you, thank you very much, and an overwhelming approval, absolutely overwhelming positive response. So that gave a very, very clear message. We have then set up a ministerial working group. David Gauke, the Exchequer Secretary, has been over here on several occasions through the consultation period. He is now chairing this group, which meets, I suppose, every couple of months. Comprises First Minister, Deputy First Minister, Sammy and Arlene, Hugo Swire and myself. And we're looking at the three critical questions. The one, obviously, that came up through the whole consultation debate was how much is it going to cost and what do you apply it to? I'm happy to discuss this. I'm personally keen to keep it very, very simple. Stick it just on trading activity. That will encourage people to get into day-to-day activity which will generate wealth, which will employ people. We get away from all the shenanigans about capital gains and everything else. Keep it simple, but we're going to look at what activities will be taxed and how much is involved. Secondly, who will administer this? Will there be a separate tax agency here? Will there be a tick-in-the-box regime, the one that would apply as a business for the special regime applying in Northern Ireland? And thirdly, how you legislate. I think probably it'll be, at the moment it looks like there'll be something in the finance bill to get through, but I'm also hoping to have a Northern Ireland bill in the next session, so that would be a bill going into Parliament summer next year, coming out winter next year, on a whole range of different political issues, which I'm consulting local parties on. There could be something in that. But it's all doable, and it is very much being debated with great seriousness now. The Treasury are having long, long meetings at official level, because I think it's been taken on board. This could possibly happen. If it does happen, they've got to be prepared in a very, very real way to know every single detail of how it would happen. So the decision is not yet made. I would stress that. I'll be talking about it in Cabinet tomorrow, actually. The next ministerial working group meets on the 25th of June, and we will then have to make a decision at UK level reasonably soon after as to what happens next. It has come an awful long way since that day I was here and the idea was put in the bin. And I would really congratulate you all for coming along on this journey so far. I'd leave you with one last thought. The launch was an absolutely brilliant local company, Kelvotech, which is everything we're talking about. Local direction, locally owned, local skills, local investment. That is what we want to see here. I have complete confidence that if we could get this through, we have got the skills in the business and the talent. And it's not just economics. It's not just dry old economics. There is a massive social and political prize here, which is unique to Northern Ireland. If you look at some of our most divided, difficult areas, Portadown, Lurgan and Craigavon, sadly, there are people who are tempted away from people politics, tempted into paramilitarism, tempted into crime. Very nearby, there is a fantastic world-class company, Almac, created by, sadly, the late Alan MacLeay, a great Northern Ireland entrepreneur. Chief executive there has gone on the record, time and again, happy to quote it, he currently employs 2,000 people. He is confident that in 10 years' time, if together, as a team, we can get corporation tax down to the same level as the Republic, he would double the workforce. I mean, just think of the impact in those difficult communities where sadly some people haven't worked for 2, 3, 4 generations. The impact of 2,000 extra top-class jobs would be tremendous. Now, they're not all going to come out of Kilwilkie and go and work for Almac, but there will be a massive knock-on effect, as Arlene said. There will be more jobs in garages, there will be more jobs in pubs, there's going to be more retail jobs. It would be really tremendous. So I do think we've come an awful long way. It's not in the bag, but there is a massive, not just economic, but a huge social and political prize. Thank you very much.